and there are 190 monthly users in Morrisburg, and we can turn that into 1,000. Is that not better for the community as a whole? That's what they did in North Grenville. They turned 22,000 in circulation into 100,000 in circulation.
You can't compare Morrisburg
Well, no,
and
not.
Williamsburg.
Well, no, you can't.
15 hours in Williamsburg.
What I was going to say is you cannot compare them, but you can compare the stats. 63% of the Republic has library cards, only 11% of ours. There are 10,000 people in this township who are not using the library. Those are the people. We know you love the library. We know that the strategic plan said that the people that are using the libraries are very satisfied with them, love them, and want to keep them the way they are.
So
it's the other 10,000 people that we need to try and draw in order to remain viable.
So you just said you upgraded all those facilities in these examples, and then all of a sudden these new people showed up. Why not upgrade the facilities that were here and in Morrisburg, allocate the money properly?
They spent $10 million in the library.
And you know what? Look at the numbers. They increased because you...
$10 million.
Yeah. So you
spent $4 on completely redeveloping a whole building. I don't think the community would be acceptable to a $10 million library.
$4 million is just an estimated cost, and in my personal experience, I know for sure that they are probably about 40% of the reality of the cost out there. And my question to you right now is, how much is the library going to cost in Morrisburg to put in this new facility there that will be serving Morrisburg more than the Williamsburg community? And as far as the traveling back and forth, like we got 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds, people that do not have driver's license. We got that means that they have to have a second card. Most people can't afford a second card. The mother's a stay-home mother there trying to raise her kids. And you're building a state-of-the-art library in Morrisburg that's supposed to serve the community, and you're throwing us out the back door.
We're not building it.
At the same time, our government is throwing all kinds of money down to you. Post office is going bankrupt. The Ontario Hydro is eating up all kinds of money, and this local community politicians is just totally messed up.
You were giving some examples that exactly support us.
Look around to the local communities to see what they're doing. They are going by their personal agendas, and I'm totally disappointed with our local politicians. There will be one politician locally that has any common sense, and my vote is for her, Ron Delaware.
Do you want me to answer any of your comments, sir? Would you like to answer any of your comments? I'm only going to comment, you said you did more of a statement than a question. But one of the issues you pointed out was the post office and the deplorable system it's in. And now it's waited too long before it's made changes, and now it's going broke. Now they've gone to the brink, they've gone over the brink, and it's too late. They did not adjust themselves to technology.
How long is it going to take to get the money back? And you know, like you can cite all this. I've been around stats all my life, and it's been my personal experience that you can get any figures that you want to justify the comments that you're making. All you have to do is just write columns and do bar graphs and everything else. Like that's just common sense.
Okay.
You know, like you know that you're in that just like anything else.
Question.
I may not be the person to answer.
Okay. I just kind of
Yes, just enhancing on your question, I'm saying what will the Williamsburg residents, including our children, what are they going to use for equipment like computers, fax machines, and photocopiers when they're doing their projects for school? Not everybody can afford a computer for their children, and I do know that some of them, a lot of them, when I go in there, I see them at the computers, and a lot of them are doing their homework. So when you take the library and you take the books out, what happens to the equipment that they have at their fingertips right now? Where will that be located? That's my question.
The computers will be in Morrisburg. And I'm sorry to say that that's the case, but that's where they'll be. And when it comes to photocopiers, yes, they might use that a little bit. I don't know how you would use a fax machine for a school project, but the computers will be in Morrisburg.
I'm more interested in the computers because they're more expensive.
Did you want to read that out?
you could grade it for her.
So she wants to know, why is the library closing? And two reasons. One, we are losing our space. And two, we need to make changes. We need to make changes because only 12% of the population is using the library. And this is how we are doing it. We are doing it with the help of Subsundust, who is providing a great new space for us.
So let's invest some money in this town and put a library in somehow.
Okay?
Where do we send the checks?
As
I'm
I
sure
mentioned-
everybody in here would love to donate to that.
Okay, as I mentioned in the presentation, the library service is a partnership between the county library and the townships. And the county library provides the services and the township provides the facilities.
Yes, but we pay.
I'm just going to get the question over here.
I'm just curious, what was the index past couple of years to increase the library usage? Were there any programs offered the past like 5 or 7 years that would increase and encourage people to use the library?
I'm going to let Karen answer this one.
Erica's only been here since the end of September last year, so she might not have a great deal of information on that. I have been with the library for 5 years now, in 2010, before I became the manager of library services, a couple of years before I became the manager of library services, one initiative that was undertaken, and you kind of saw it in one of the slides, was a membership drive, a good old-fashioned membership drive, and we set some pretty robust goals to try to build our membership, because we were dwindling, and the system has been dwindling in the number of new memberships and active memberships for a long time, like since well before my time here. And in 2010, you did see that, I don't have the exact numbers, but there was something like 100 or 110 or something new memberships that were, new registrations that were received in Williamsburg. That was because we made a very concerted investment in just trying to get new members in. Some of you may remember we had Bring a Buddy to the Library, and you both have a chance to win a prize. And new members got an umbrella or a hat. I saw one of our hats here earlier on. So that is the kinds of things we have done. We have also, I know it's a little bit before my time, but I know the library used to have double staffing all the time. Used to have people who were hired just to lead programs. Over the years, over the last 10, 15, 20 years, I can't know the numbers for sure because I wasn't here at the time, those resources have been kind of whittled away and cut away and cut away and cut away just in order to survive without asking for a huge increase in operating budget. And I would say when all of the people that got together, over months, and certainly the board and staff who got together to have those hard discussions about what are we going to do with the library? How are we going to move this library forward? That was one of the things, is that we just can't, if we whittle away any more of staff, then, we can't keep the doors open anyway. If you don't have staff, you can't keep the doors open anyway.
Volunteers to cut down the cost of operation, because I'm sure there's all kinds of volunteers who will be very happy to donate some of their time.
It's always an interesting proposition, and believe me, from an administration or management perspective, it's tempting. There is a reality that at some point you have to delineate. Are you going to have your kids taught by teachers, or are you going to have them taught by volunteers? Are you going to have professionals working in your libraries, or are you going to have volunteers working in your libraries?
Actually care about the students, man. Let's get to the real world here. You can talk all you want, but volunteers are doing it from their heart. They're not doing it from the money book, which makes a huge part of the difference. And I can guarantee that. And I appreciate all that volunteers bring to any institution, any organization services. Absolutely. I've been an active volunteer myself. I know what goes into it.
it's very hard to manage. It's very hard to be certain that you're going to have a dependable volunteer base, because like the train's on the tracks, it's moving, and you know, we appreciate the interest in volunteering. We appreciate the kinds of help we get. It's just really, really hard to manage, like really hard.
I'll tell you, if you go down to Carnival and go to the hospice, you will find that that's all operated by volunteers. And if you know anything about that, if you don't know anything about it, you should go down and pay the visit. Because that's run by volunteers and donations, period.
Good to hear. I will make a point of looking in at that.
I would, and then compare that to what could happen in the libraries.
I'd like to say that I know several members of the City of Williamsburg Library Committee who would be willing to form a Friends of the Library group and help with fundraising and help with programming if we could keep a library open.
Yes, I am a member of the Save the Williamsburg Library Committee. And first of all, I wanted to say the presentation was fine. However, the numbers are somewhat skewed, given that Williamsburg does have a very high circulation record for 2012, January and February, but of course March's circulation records are not up on your website yet. What you have to remember, and all of you on the board have to remember, and I have a question, but I'm going to make this statement first. We pay for your services. If you want to be in the library business, then you should. And that seems to be, I mean, you interviewed 180 people. The consultant interviewed 180 people. That's not even 10% of the population. So the input from the population was low. You don't market the services well. You market them internally, but not externally. If you don't sell the services, you don't get new members. And this idea of 500 people going into the library in Morrisburg a day is out to lunch. Question, wait a minute. I'd like to ask this question first. My question is directed to the library board members. As you are aware, there is widespread anger, frustration, and disappointment at your decision to close the Williamsburg Library. It is well understood and very disturbing to the residents of South Dundas that there has been considerable lobbying by the board to the South Dundas council members to support the board's decision to close the Williamsburg branch. My question to each of you as board members is this. Given that the members of the South Dundas Council are here this evening and are now aware of the extent of the public outrage over this decision, are you prepared to reverse this ill-conceived decision and continue to support South Dundas by ensuring that an adequate library location with full library services is annually funded in Williamsburg, if so requested by South Dundas Council?
Ms. Liberty, you've made some excellent points. Everybody does pay taxes here, and we are after the other 10,000 people also who pay taxes who are not taking advantage of the services. That's important too. At Morrisburg, there's going to be a presentation next Thursday. I really hope some of the non-users come out. We know that the people who care about it are you folks, but we hope the non-users come out, because even if...
Engage the non-users. You're not
Well,
engaging. You're not advertising.
we have a marketing person that is working specifically on marketing.
And I understand that this can go forward, but at the moment, you're killing Williamsburg. We lost everything 55 years ago. Our heritage, our history went down the toilet. Part of that library across the road, down the road, is our history, and we're not willing to let it go.
The people that, as I was saying, the 9,500 to 10,000 people that are not using the library are as important to us. We need to get them in. It's like a hockey association. If you don't bring them in, you will lose them. In 15 years, a lot of us will be gone, and there'll be 20 years, the core users in the senior populations won't be here anymore. And then
Yes,
what?
but I don't see any improvements to the library services that you're talking about in Morrisburg.
Mrs. Liberty, I want to mention another thing.
Okay.
You did say 500 people a day will be going into the library branch, and that wasn't what I said. I said 500 people. What she was referring to is 300 to 500 people will be walking into that building. You're going to have 11 doctors. You're going to have your township building, and so there'll be between, and you're going to have a library in there. So that's what my point was. On the 300 to 500, that wasn't going into the library today. That was going into the building.
Doctors now. We'll
You're gonna have all those people going in, what if the doctors pull out?
Those questions, you can go to your council meeting and ask your council about that. Your council has gone above and beyond any other council. They've done more than any other council has done. They are leading the way in providing that branch to the residents of South Dundas, excuse me. But they're leading the way. There's been inquiries from other municipalities as to what they're doing. They're watching us. You can be the leaders. I guess we don't have.
So if we're being watched, why not show you care about the small towns?
Well, you have a couple of points. You asked how much it costs, and you would be willing to write a check. You've asked that several times. Cost of running the branch is about $40,000. Your money would be better spent to rent this building on your own, have some volunteers, as you suggested, and have some professional programming. The cost of running a professional library of that size, 15 hours a week, runs over $2,000 per hour. So we need to move that money into and keep it in your community. It's not money that we need to make the system better. It's unfair to the other 10,000 people who are not using the system.
Okay, I have a question then. What would be the cost of us withdrawing from this association? Doesn't seem to be working. Do we get the money back then to our South Dundas? It's costing $40,000 a year.
You have 3 libraries, sir. Are you speaking on behalf of all the people that want to pull the libraries out of this?
Dundas here, Williamsburg.
Pardon?
The library here in Williamsburg.
Yeah.
With the money that's now going to be to you guys to spend.
It's not going to
It's
us.
paying Williamsburg Library. Does that come back to the people then?
It's going to be redeployed in
For them to
Morrisburg.
redeploy?
Pardon?
Will it come back to Williamsburg so they can redeploy?
No.
So it's going to go on.
Going to Morrisburg.
Yeah.
You live in South Dundas. This is sort of about the betterment of the system.
There's no way, I get up at 3 in the morning, leave my house by 5, and maybe make it home by 7:30, 8 o'clock. There's no way I'm bringing my kids to Morrisburg.
Our children get on the bus at 7 a.m. They have to be in bed at 8. We have to do homework. We have to do baths. We have to have play. We don't have time to rush to Morrisburg.
Well, as
It
has
would
been
not be an
explained.
enjoyable experience. And on Saturdays, they might have activities. We're getting groceries. We can't be having a nice, relaxing time in the library and enjoying ourselves when our groceries are melting in the car and the kids are having little meltdowns.
We seem to be crossing over because Erica explained the books will continue to be delivered into Williamsburg.
Children can't see on the internet what they want to go and physically look at, it, pick out their own books.
What we're competing
Are
with,
going to suffer the most.
pardon?
The people with no computers are going to suffer the most.
Well, I'd like to know who doesn't have a computer.
There's lots of people.
And they're using a lot, well,
They can't afford the internet.
we are competing with 300 channels on TV, 24-hour-a-day cartoons, unlimited internet.
Who you're speaking to?
You don't realize who you're dealing with. You're not rich.
Well, I do realize what you're doing.
I don't go to the library and I'm a newbie here, okay? I'm a new person, and tonight's my first night.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Well, first of all, this lady right here, I have to commend you because you did say that, 5 years ago, you put yourself out there to bring people into the library? 3 years ago. Wow. It's a business.
Yep.
It's promotion. Promotion, promotion. You want a business, you want to make money, you want to get ahead, promote, promote, promote. 3 years ago, that's too much. Now, I'm sorry, but whether
membership, promotion, it all comes down to taking care of the library. Now, what I'm hearing here tonight is someone hasn't done their homework properly. They're just push. I'm here to tell you that I went on the school bus last week with my girlfriend, she's a driver. I couldn't believe the extent of the time and what time those kids got home and things like that. They get up early in the morning, as this lady said over here, and they come home late at night before supper time. They have to have something close, not far away, not that you have to jump in the car and go. So I think you guys, whoever's doing the financial and whatever you're doing, get back to the paperwork, get back to the people, and try harder. Thank you very much.
Go ahead.
I want to know if this question is true or false. In the Morrisburg Leader yesterday, there was a comment in there, maybe sent a letter to the dear editor, and it was saying the library boards legally cannot close branches without approval from the townships that are affected. Is that true or false?
If you read the Public Libraries Act, it says the county must maintain a library in a municipality that was founded prior to 1971. So we've got a legal opinion on that, and it's been done. So we can bring that back out, but that's not what we're looking at. I mean, that's what we're looking at is trying to better serve you folks. No, I must be missing something because I must be missing something because you're in the same township. When we look at things as a library board, we look at it globally. We see branches on a map. We don't see borders. We don't see boundaries. But when we do,
and you don't see the people that live in the town.
And when we do reallocate the hours, we're keeping them in the same municipality. That's in fairness to the township. If we can turn it from 200 people into 500 or 1,000 people, is that not better for the community?
No. For this community.
Mr. Zerbeck.
Just a correction, sir. Part one of the public library service of the PLA states that every public library established under the predecessor of this part that was being operated immediately before the 29th of March 1985 is continued subject to this part, which is part one of the public library. It also states, clause 21, operation of branch libraries by county library board. That states that the county library board shall operate in a branch library in each local municipality that operated a public library before the municipality became a part of the county library system, unless the county council and the council of the municipality concerned agree otherwise. Now, speaking for North Dundas, and I think the same thing, I don't know the makeup of the structure, government structure in South Dundas. There was the township of Matilda, there was the village or town of Iroquois and Morrisburg. The three, four. Every one of those governances, it was not the township of South Dundas, who was now basically the spokesperson for the governances of the time that when the PLA was, or when the county system was brought into place, those were the governances. Williamsburg is effectively, there was the governance that applied then, in effect, mandates the requirement for both the local governance and the county's approval before you can shut it down. That is the Public Libraries Act.
Okay. We have a legal opinion. Moose Creek was closed down, and we have a legal opinion that supports this. Those are all pre-amalgamation statistics, are referring to municipalities that were there prior to amalgamation. We do have a legal opinion at the counties with respect to libraries. So I guess I'm not saying it's a debate for another day. It's just, I don't have the exact answer for you, although I know we have a legal opinion at the counties. Sorry, go on.
I'm reading.
Oh, no, the lady behind us.
Yeah, I just have one comment to make. I don't think our council for this area has backed the people that are trying to save the library at all. That's the
Now, we don't have a moderator here tonight. This is meant to be a discussion. We do want to end it fairly shortly. We know, we've heard the opinions, and certainly maybe a couple more people. And then I think a lot of people want to get going shortly after 8 o'clock. We did not plan on being here much later.
Not really, no.
Oh, I mean, I'll stay here all night, but we are repeating the same thing over and over. No, there's other people, there's like 10 other people in the house.
Please allow us to speak.
Pardon?
Please allow us to say.
No, of course, but if we just continue to say the same thing over.
Do not read the top of the petition. We have questions, so please allow us the time to
Okay.
answer and ask and answer.
But this is not a board meeting, this is a public information session. So we're doing our best.
700 people requested this, Mr. McKinsey.
There's 85 people that use it per month.
Okay. More than that. Can I ask my question? May I speak? All right. The 2013 budget is the same as 2012. Why not less if you want Williamsburg closed? And this is another question. There are quite a few non-members here. And not everybody uses the arena. Not everybody uses the park or the library. Some services are not for everyone. And I originally am from Maxville, North Glengarry. Let's say the only one in that municipality was in Alexandria. At the time I lived in Maxville as a single parent. Didn't drive, I had 3 jobs. I didn't own a car, I couldn't afford one. Do you think that I would be able to walk to Alexandria? 20 minutes? Drive? There's no way. You're definitely taking something from our community, and I really think you guys should reopen your discussion. And I swear to the heavens above, if you voted, I swear, we would keep our library.
Okay. Erica, if it's the books you were looking for, there's not going to be any absence of books. There's a commitment to continue to deliver books into the municipality. If it's a place to go and use a computer, again, I said it would be far more cost effective for a few people to get together and rent this hall for 15 hours a week than it would be to operate a library. Because the gentleman did offer to, let's pay, well, it would cost $500 to $600 per person to operate the library on an annual basis.
Emily's been waiting for about 20 minutes to speak. She was hiding under the table.
Well, I saw her there, but I just thought she was a young person calling her
she'd
in.
like to speak.
I'm sorry, Emily, go ahead.
Why is there also going to be a meeting in Morrisburg about the library? The library board has decided that Williamsburg people can walk or drive to Morrisburg several times a week. So why don't you expect our Morrisburg friends to come to Williamsburg once for this meeting? We want all of South Dundas to be welcome at this meeting. Why is there a meeting in Morrisburg?
I just want to add that we are not saving any money with this. We are moving the money into one facility. As to why there is a meeting in Morrisburg, we are having a meeting in both places because it affects both places. There are certainly people here tonight who are not residents of Williamsburg. And I expect that there will certainly be people in the Morrisburg meeting who are not residents of Morrisburg. This just gives more opportunity for discussion and more opportunity for us to answer your questions.
Now they moved the council, they moved the library to Morrisburg. What's next? Harvest Fest?
I think that's a question for the Harvest Fest organizers.
I understand how you have to try to attract new patrons and stuff for the library to continue its feasibility. But I don't understand why you need to throw the rest of us under the steamroller for the sake of progress. I mean, I understand searching for the 10,000 people that aren't using it, but there's hundreds of people that are using it, and you're throwing us right under the steamroller.
We're certainly not trying to do that, and
But that's what's happening.
that's not our intention, and we are doing our best to provide alternate services here in Williamsburg, as well as moving forward with the new branch in Morrisburg.
It seems that a lot of the promotional stuff I've seen in the library in Morrisburg is focused on the architecture, the furniture, attracting tourists was one of the things I saw. Up until about 5 minutes ago, the gentleman here was the first one of you to mention books. I thought the whole purpose of a library was books, information, not the furniture and expensive architecture of the highest design. Can you explain that in reference to the budget?
I think we can all agree that the library is about more than books. Okay. And I think the library is about reading as well, and that means ebooks as well. In our budget, ebooks fall under subscriptions because once we change vendors or we don't have a certain plan anymore, we have to buy those ebooks again. It's not the same world where we can buy a paper book and keep that paper book. We still can buy paper books, but ebooks are different. So that's one difference.
I saw in your presentation there's some really nice armchairs and tables and desks and things. What about the people who just use the library for a book and go and sit in their own armchair?
Then we're going to have a book pickup and drop-off location in Williamsburg for you.
Where? I'm just wondering, how do kids pick out books? That's right, they grab a child pick out a book. Do they look on the computer and go, hey, that looks good, I wonder what the pictures look like inside? Or do they go, Mom, can you look this up on the computer for me? Or do they sit and pull out a book and open it up and go, wow, look at all these stories in here, and look at the pictures, and look at all this stuff. I'm just wondering how the kids of Williamsburg are going to pick out a book online and pick it up from the drop-off. Like how, I don't understand.
I understand it'll be a change. Certainly with ebooks, you'll be able to browse the same way. With the online books, it'll be different.
I'm talking kids, like I'm talking 3 to 6. I'm talking like, that's where I'm at, so that's what I'm talking about. When I go to the library with my kids, they don't sit and just look at the covers. They sit and they pull out a book and they ask me to read it to them at the library. So they want to, and they go, oh, let's take that home so we can read it again and again and again and again and again. They don't go on the computer and go, can we find a book, Mom? And they go on the computer and look and go, hey, that one looks fun. Let's wait for it to come in like 4 days.
I understand. It will be different. One of the things that we are hoping to offer at the new branch is preschool story times, which is something we don't currently offer in Williamsburg at all.
My 4-year-old we either go by wagon, walkers, pedal tractor. We go regularly to the library, and the first thing he does, starts grabbing books, sits down on the carpet, and starts choosing and looking at pictures, and I have to read the beautiful mat. It's not updated, but it's perfect. It has the alphabet, the numbers, and he's on it. Look, Mama, A, B, C, D, and 1, 2, 3. He's 4. He's not going to get anything out of choosing a book from the computer. He doesn't understand computers, so why take that away, as the other lady said? It's really unfair. It's for children to learn. My son does not go to school yet. We kept him home until senior kindergarten, so he is learning at the library here in Williamsburg.
I understand. It will be different.
I don't think you've asked a question yet.
No, thanks. In your presentation, you mentioned fragmentation, and you said that the library is fragmented and it has to be consolidated in order to survive. And by that, I take it that you meant that it's in many different locations, but the community is in many different locations. And having a library co-located where the people are is not fragmentation, that's integration. And if you take the library away from the people, that is fragmentation, and it's also going to cause fragmentation in the community that will be without its library. And to hear that the elected representatives are wanting the library to be taken away as well, in spite of the clear desire otherwise, is very, very disturbing to me. And with the TR Léger arrival, it appears that there's going to have to be a different solution found if the library will stay in Williamsburg. So I would encourage the elected representatives to represent what cannot be denied and find another way to have a library in this town with the people.
Thank you.
I think that what you have to realize people move here because it is a traditional community. They don't necessarily want everything that's in the city at a moment's notice. They want to live, as I say, in a traditional community. And you people don't realise that. You don't live here. Do you live here?
No, I don't live
Do
here.
any of the board members live here?
I was going to say, Mr. Benson says he lives about 10 minutes north. We all live in different places. This is one of the challenges, going back to the fragmented. We have many small branch locations throughout SDNG, and we all live throughout SDNG, and we have to look at it as well as throughout the township of South Dundas as a system throughout SDNG.
We moved from South Glengarry to Lancaster. There's a population of 600. That has an incredible life. And a lot of volunteers go there. Why can't we have the same here, volunteers?
We do have volunteers throughout the library system, I would say.
So why can't we run it here?
Where we live.
We don't have to have qualified teachers.
I think it's unfortunate that Erica is having to answer these questions because the board is responsible for this decision, and you should be up there and speaking, because you mentioned that, closing Williamsburg, going to Morrisburg, it's only 9 kilometers away. You said 7 minutes. It's closer to 12.
I said 7 minutes, Patrol. And
Well,
5
whoever
seconds.
said 7 minutes, but it's closer to 12. The thing is,
Apparently I'm going very fast.
Stormont, Dundas, and Glengarry are in Eastern Ontario is a rural area. That's it, and that's all. You're planning to cut down the branches until there are 6 resorts and maybe a few more. And I think everyone needs to realize that we're the first victims. And you're saying that, Morrisburg, people in Morrisburg and Iroquois aren't going to be concerned. We are now South Dundas. I may not live here. This is my library. I borrow books from that library. My card comes out of Morrisburg. But you can ask the library staff here, do I borrow books from here? Lots of people do. And they're not trying to add up or push up the statistics. You need to be open-minded. You need to understand that your plan sucks and rethink it. And I understand that you're new, Erica, and I understand that Karen hasn't been around long enough, but you have to get out into the communities, and you haven't. You can't stay in the tower in Cornwall and make all these decisions and not take the people and the residents and the community and the children into account. Furniture doesn't matter a damn. You're taking away the democratic rights of these people. We have the right to information. We have the right to knowledge. When you take it away, you are taking away our democratic rights. And you've got to rethink it and reconsider it and talk to council, because if they agree, this library has to stay here, another location has to be found, and you have to go and have another plan for the Morrisburg branch. Spending a lot of money on furniture doesn't help. It's not going to make people
It's about providing the best services we can with the resources we have.
Right.
And most of the resources, can I say something? Yes. Most of the resources that we're talking about are staff time. They're not the furniture, it's staff time.
But the
And I'm going to
furniture
move
is
on
part
to
of the
I'm going to move
cost.
on to the question over here if you want.
Don't say that. Well, you're wrong. You have 4 libraries now?
Yes.
And if you close Williamsburg, South Dundas will have 2.
Yes, and South Glengarry has 2 as well.
Pardon?
And South Glengarry has 2 as well.
Yes,
We provide library service for all 6 townships.
I live right across the street from the library, and I see a lot of people go in, and actually my kids, they go over to the library to meet with their friends, and they just sit and talk. They'll read their books there, go on the computer, read the newspaper, stuff like that, just like a hangout spot in Williamsburg. And
I know that the numbers will not show on your computers because they don't get the library card saying, I'm here, but there's more people that go in there and when you're